Well, good morning. So, we're going to do a quick little review over literal equations. I'm going to show you a few examples that hopefully will help you understand how to solve these problems, especially if you're solving for a particular variable. So in this case, we notice it's in standard form, and for today we're going to solve for y. So I want to get y by itself. So I'm trying to get this right here by itself. Notice I'm including the sign that's in front of it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the 3x. So I know there's an understood plus sign in front of here. So I'm going to do the inverse operation. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So minus 3x and minus 3x. Now notice over here, I put it a little bit to the right of that term because I don't want to be tempted to try to add those together. Those aren't like terms. This one has a variable x and this is just a constant. I can't add those together. I can't combine those because they're not like terms. So this simplifies to 0. I can bring down my negative 2y. I'm going to put my x term first and my constant or my number second. That's just kind of slope-intercept form. I like to get into practice of doing that. So there, I've done my first step. I still don't have y by itself. It's still not isolated. I'm trying to solve for y. I notice I have a negative 2 in front. Well, that's being multiplied by it. Notice if a number is touching a variable or if it's next to it, however you want to think about it, that's understood to be multiplication. So I'm going to do the inverse operation in order to get rid of that negative 2. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. That simplifies. I bring my y down by itself. A negative over negative is a positive. And negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. So now I've solved for y. I've got y by itself. So I started on the side with the variable that I want to get it by itself. Get rid of the other term by doing the inverse operation. And then down here, your last step is just divide by whatever's in front of the letter you're trying to isolate or get by itself. In this case, it was a negative 2, so I just divided everything by negative 2. So there's one example. Another example you may see on your assignment or may encounter. Let's just make up a problem. Let's say you had 2 pi x, y equals b. Just making up some letters. Doesn't matter. Let's say in this case I want to solve for x. I'm going to get x by itself. Well, notice, just like the previous example, these are all in a line. They're all next to each other. They're touching each other. They're by each other. We understand that everything here is being multiplied together. So what I can do is the inverse operation. I want to get x by itself. This is all multiplication, so I'm going to divide by everything I don't want. I don't want the 2, I don't want the pi, I don't want the y. So I'm going to divide this side by 2 pi y, and I'm going to do it to this side as well. Those all simplify. Allows me to bring down my x by itself. And I'm simply going to leave that the way it is. B divided by 2 pi y. Nothing here can simplify, so this is my final answer. There you go. Same equation solving steps that we normally do. In this case, I didn't have to add or subtract because my operations were multiplication. So in this instance, just divide by everything you don't want. I didn't want the 2, the pi, or the y, so that's what I divided by. Here's the final problem you might see. You may see something like this: 2b minus e equals a. If you look at it, notice it looks very much like a two-step equation. I have multiplication, some kind of addition or subtraction, and it equals something. I'm going to do my same two-step operation skills in order to get the b by itself. So in this case, I'm solving for b. Okay, so I'm going to do my normal two-step operation to get b by itself. So I'm going to start with addition and subtraction. I'm going to do the inverse operation. It's minus e. I'm going to add e to both sides. Notice, not like terms, so I'm not going to add them together. Bring down my 2b. A plus E. And then my last step is multiplication. I'm going to do the inverse operation. I'm going to divide everything by 2. In this case, I'm just going to put one big line there and divide. I understand that after I do the addition up there, I'm going to divide it by 2. Either way, it'll work, but let's just make it look like this. So I'm going to be left with B equals A plus E, and all of that is going to be divided by 2. So there you go. Hopefully that'll help you on your assignment.